What's going on, everyone? So, the bottle tree. It is a very key, very important, very significant piece of From, right? A lot of mystery still to kind of unpack and unravel with the bottle tree, but it has this significance. This tree, out of all trees, is very different. It is what appears to be the connection between the real world and Fromville. And the bottle tree was where Victor took Tabitha so Tabitha could go through the tree to end up at the lighthouse in order to try to free the children, which she didn't free the children, but Boy in White kind of led her to the real world. And now she found Henry, and then they had their dialogue, they had their back and forth. But the bottle tree is this significant point. And Victor talked about how, his mother, Miranda, now that we know her name, that this was the point she was trying to go. That all the other trees that can take you to different places, all these other trees that are essential portals, all are kind of random. You never know where you're going to end up with those trees, except for this one. Right? He says, like, my mother used to always say that this one was different. This one was special. And so far, we've seen that one is different, that one is special. And that was kind of the portal, the key to get to that step to get into the real world. And we found out that in the real world, Henry has ties and connections to a bottle tree of his own. We found out that he has a bottle tree in the backyard that Miranda ended up creating and developing. And then even more significant, we found out that this isn't the original one. The original bottle tree that she created was in a park a couple towns over that they were on their way to when they got in the car accident, which infuriates me because chances are we're never going to see that bottle tree until probably the end, when and if they ever get out. Right? Like, because now they're back in Fromville. So, unless Tabitha gets out and starts all over again, right? Like, which could be. Maybe she gets out again, and maybe we get an episode or two with her still in Fromville and kind of dealing with the aftermath of coming back. And then maybe she goes back to the real world to go find that tree again. I hope that that's the case. I hope that that's what happens, because I think that could be a real interesting element in and of itself. Like, what if the bottle trees, the first bottle tree that Miranda created, as well as the bottle tree in Fromville, what if those two are connected? And that's the doorway. Something that I've talked about with Miranda is she had a real knowledge of that place, unlike anyone else we've seen. And also, she had to have known how to get in and out. And the biggest point of evidence, in my opinion, is the fact that she was willing to leave her kids while she went to go free the children to try to get everyone out. And she also was able to get there with her children. Now, could Fromville have just brought her in? Sure, of course. But if you're going to go and escape and leave out, Tabitha did it, but she did it and left her children with their father, Jim. Right? And there wasn't some psycho and Christopher running around killing people, right? Like, she left her children, who were children, in a cellar to go try to help other ghost children. Like, why would you leave your children there unless you knew how to get back? Unless you knew that, hey, it's okay, I can go free these children, I can get out, and then I can go run to the tree at the park and get right back in. So I can complete the mission, get right back in, come grab you, grab everyone out of this town, and free them. I think that would be a very cool, very unique way to kind of approach this. I think that is something that I think is very plausible based on, the information we have with the bottle tree. And, like, the other point is like, did Miranda create those trees? Because, look, she created the one in, obviously in the backyard, but the original one that's in that park that we haven't seen and we probably won't get to see. But also, you have the bottle tree that is in Fromville that has been very significant. Now, some of those bottles have notes. Some of those bottles have little, stories or whatever's in all those bottles. Right? But some of them are also completely empty. Now, Tabitha could have easily found that tree, discovered it's different, found out that that's the tree that goes there, or maybe she saw it through the visions. I mean, the visions that she had were central remote view. I mean, she was able to see literal details and people and spirits and all kinds of things in Fromville. Right? Like it was almost like, based on the pictures and drawings that we saw, like she was able to like walk around Fromville almost while not being there. Because she just had a lot of information. So she knew that tree was different than all the other trees. Victor relayed that, and it was right. It was correct. Because there is a sense of, how much can we trust Victor's knowledge, right? He couldn't even remember his own sister. He blocked out a lot of things, all of that. But that is something we knew for a fact to be true, right? We witnessed it. We saw it. We saw the change, saw the difference, right? And so I don't think it's that far-fetched. And even the bottles that have things in it, that doesn't mean she couldn't have used those, right? Just, I'm sure there's not an abundance of bottles. I'm not sure she can just go to the bottle store, right? She only had what she had to work with, right? She only had whatever bottles were lying around. Some of them had little notes and stuff. I don't think she really would have cared. She just wanted to get the bottles up, right? So maybe she created that bottle tree as a marker, as a way to kind of always find that tree, right? Because, even like Victor will look for and measure the trees and how far they moved and stuff, right? That's probably something, like he didn't just pick that up randomly. Like that's probably something that Miranda maybe even did. And so if like, hey, trees and stuff in this place kind of venture off on their own, right? And, you have a location that the tree is at, and, a month from now, it could be 10 feet the other way, right? And you go to a location and it's not there. Well, now you have the bottles as your marker. Bottles as your, like, hey, here they are, right? So you have the bottle tree. Or again, maybe it's just something that she created this art and then just created the bottle tree there, right? Like, there's clearly something that was talked about and mentioned for a reason. Problem is, we didn't really get much information beyond that, right? Which I imagine we probably would have gotten some if they went there, because Henry probably would have opened up more and talked about the bottle tree. And like, my wife used to always say this, that, and the other, right? But we didn't get there. We didn't get to see it. And so you have just like all Henry relayed is that, actually this isn't even the first, that his wife always really loved this and wanted it close to her, right? She wanted it close to her and she wanted it home. But the original one, the one that she wanted that had the real significance, was in another park. And he even says everything started there. That's where they went to go take the psychedelics and stuff like that. So she made the bottle tree before she started having the visions, because the visions started from her taking the psychedelics, right? So we know now that she hadn't seen the visions. She created this bottle tree. She took these psychedelics. Psychedelics led to her having visions. She ultimately ends up eventually going to Fromville. And now there's a bottle tree that's exactly like these two that she's created in the real world. Miranda created the bottle tree. How much evidence do you need outside of like her spirit going like, yeah, I created it? Again, the first place they went to was the bottle tree that she created to take psychedelics, which caused her to start unlocking those visions. She wasn't getting them before. She was at them after that moment. So that means she created the bottle tree. Now, could Fromville have kind of, put the image and idea? You have an idea, a vision of like something you want to create. Could Fromville have put that vision in her head? Possibly. But the chosen one type of visions, She didn't start getting until she did the psychedelics. So this bottle tree, I believe, based on the evidence we have, which I think is compelling enough, she created the bottle tree. Now, it doesn't mean she created the tree itself, right? But she created she clearly used the bottles as a marker and to kind of create this for a purpose, for a reason. Again, it could be as simple as, she just wanted it as like a sound marker, so that way she always could find it. She always knew where it could go. Because it was a special tree and because she did the artwork and stuff like that, or made the bottle trees in the real world, could have just because she made the bottle tree doesn't mean that she didn't plant the tree or like the portal was created by her or anything like that. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that the bottle tree, that tree in particular, that is known now as the bottle tree, is the most significant tree in that entire place. And Miranda ended up going to Fromville and replicated what she did in the real world. There's got to be a connection there. There's got to be something. Now, again, is it the doorway, right? Is there a way, could that other tree be your way into Fromville? Right? To where, which, the thing, well, even if there's an opening, like how many people are walking through that opening? But if it is a portal, right? It would probably have to be something that you'd have to know is there. You know what I mean? Because otherwise people could just stumble into it, right? If you have a big enough hole, you're going to have kids and all kinds of stuff, especially if it's at a park. A bunch of kids and stuff, trying to climb into that hole. And then all of a sudden they're all in Fromville. Why is there 50 kids in here? What is this place, right? So my guess is that there's probably something to where maybe the portal opens, or, maybe it's a tree, unless you are somebody that has a connection to Fromville or something, because everyone that's been there has been essentially marked, right? They're all it doesn't seem to be very as random as they make it seem, right? A lot of these people had visions prior or had some connections or felt like they went there. I mean, even characters like Tilly talked about how she knew about this place, right? All of that. So, but anyway, as always, this is a discussion. And I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you believe, as well as I do, that, yeah, she created the bottle tree? Again, not necessarily the tree itself, but just kind of the marker, the bottles, which has been a very significant kind of point of this series, of this show, period, right? But what are your thoughts? What are your takes? What are your opinions? Are you disappointed as well that we're probably never going to get to see that tree in the other town? I hope we do. Again, I hope maybe Tabitha goes back out to the real world and then goes and finds that tree because Henry, that's my hope, fingers crossed. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.